Hi and welcome back to a new art journaling video. Today I have another art recipe for you. It's something you can do when you have no mojo or no idea what to create, and then you can pick out one of the recipes and follow the steps and you will create a nice page. I have already added the colors to my recipe card, and I'm using Distress Oxide inks this time to create the background, and I will use every single color I have in my color swatch. Whenever I have no idea which colors to combine, I go to Pinterest and search for color palettes, and there are so many beautiful color combinations, and I just pick one of them. I squish the ink to the Gelli plate and then spritz it with water and add it to the page. I have primed my pages with gesso and I'm working in my mini envelope art journal. I will link up a how-to video of this journal in the top right corner info box so you can check that out. I'm working from light to dark with my colors, and I also dry the layers in between so they don't mix too much. I want them to layer, and you can also avoid to create mud when you dry each layer. If you don't have a Gelli plate, you can also use a piece of acetate or a piece of a baking mat. That would work even better. And just squish the ink onto the mat and then flip the mat around and place it into your art journal. This is the second video I have uploaded with the theme of the recipe and how to overcome an art block. If you want to see the first video, I will link this also in the description box and in the top right corner info box. When my background is completely dry, I go in with a little bit of background stamping, and therefore I try to use also matching colors of my color scheme. And I'm using archival ink because it's permanent when dry, and it's also good for stamping. And when you stamp with the Oxide inks directly to a gesso page, you can wait days before it's dry, so I would not recommend that. I just pick a star from my grungy stuff stamp set and I stamp it with a second and third generation stamping, so I get multiple layers and this creates more dimension. I use a border stamp to create a frame around my page. All the stamps I'm using are from Rubber Dance, and you will find a list of the supplies in the description box. For more interest and to create kind of a bottom to my page, I'm using another border stamp with a leafy border and stamp it to the bottom of my page. I also used the stitching border from our grungy borders. I believe this is my most used border stamp. I really love the texture it has and the look you get. During the process, I always note down the steps that I've done and also the supplies I've used. And next time when I have no idea what to create, I can pull out my recipe card and just create an art journal page with the same techniques and use other colors and other stamps. Of course, you can stop with stamping at this stage because the page is already pretty full and we have a lot of dimension going on, but I really enjoy this star stamp, and so I decide it matches my big star, and so I stamp it to the top of my page. I decided to go with mushrooms for my main images, and therefore I pick out some of my jelly prints that are matching my color scheme of the page. And I will stamp the mushrooms to the prints and cut them into pieces and layer them, and that will create some interesting and grungy looking mushrooms. You can do this paper piecing technique with any kind of image stamp and you will get very interesting results. I'm stamping the mushrooms with Stays On ink as this works perfect on acrylic paint and it dries the fastest. I pick different color areas where I stamp my images on, and when I'm done I decide which ones I would like to put together. I have cut out all the pieces and now I will glue them together. So you see I have cut out one whole mushroom with a tiny border around it, and then I cut out the cap of it and I cut it out directly to the black line so I can adhere it and it's almost invisible that it's cut out and glued down. When my mushrooms are finished, I arrange them to the page and look what I like best. I'm using liquid glue to glue my mushrooms down. What I finally need for my page is a sentiment, and I decide to pick the leftovers from the jelly prints and stamp the words I want to use. I'm using my Mix the Sentiment stamp sets and the journal words, and I'm just searching for the right words on the stamps, ink them up and put the leftover piece on top. so I have the words ready to cut them out. Normally I'm using these stamps to make sheets of words, and I stamp or emboss them to any kind of paper. This could also be pattern paper to make it more interesting. And then I cut the words out, but as my Gelli print leftovers are not very big, I decided to do it this way. To finish the page up, I'm using a watercolor pencil and create kind of a bottom for my mushrooms. To make the words stand out even more, I frame them with a fine liner, and I also add a little bit of shadow to them with the watercolor pencil. And here is the finished page. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it is helpful for you, so you can maybe create your own art journal page, even if you have maybe no mojo or no idea. It's just pick some colors, pick a main image, and you're ready to go. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we see us next time. Bye bye.